Hi, it's Jane, and I'm gonna restart that item that I was making, and I can find the center pole. Here we go, and I'm using 3 strands of this yarn together. But I had a rather interesting thing happen that I thought was kind of odd, but I sort of understand it, but at the same time, I don't, because it was basically just an opinion and talking about the nonsense that goes on with some of these V words. But my Vlogmas week number 2 was taken down because the powers that be did not like my subject matter, talking about Bill Gates and his dirtiness, what he was doing with certain people in a different country, testing things on them. But, you know, whatever. Okay. So that video was taken down. So I'm going to redo this one, and I'm also going to include some footage of a rather interesting item I found at my Dollar Tree that I thought, wonder what that would look like. And you'll see that in a little bit, because I'll put that at the end of the video, where I'd done a little bit of a video on that. Other than that, I'm just restarting this item, and I think Lottie had guessed that it was a hat. It is not a hat. Although I did put it on my head like it was a hat, but it is not a hat. It is a rather serious mistake that, oh well, we live and we learn about how to do those things and fix the problems that we make. So, like I said, starting all over. And that's been a little bit interesting to have to restart over. Just because it's already difficult to get started to begin with. And I'm not using the right one to get that one right there. All right. But, stuff happens, you move on, that kind of thing. My week has been rather interesting. I have put a call out for some help to move some furniture to my house from a place. And so far there's no one come forward yet with it. And I need a truck or someone who has a trailer, to help with that. Because it is a love seat and 2 chairs. Might be able to get one of the chairs into the car, but the love seat and the one other chair, I don't think there's any way they'll fit in the back of my car. So that's been, rather interesting to see. Normally this church steps up and it's pretty quick. I only need 1 vehicle, and I would hate to have 12 or 13 show up that morning when I need it. So I'm kind of hoping somebody will answer that call. But cats have been a little on the weary side. I have moved some things around in the living room, and of course they're kind of freaked out by that. They like their their place to be one of continuity so they don't have to fear anything. But it's been interesting seeing those kitties behave the way that they did. I didn't expect that from them, so I was a little shocked by that, their behavior. And Ronan has been a little bit of a turkey butt this week. He, the minute I got the new tablecloth on it, I turned around and he was sitting on the table. And as you know, when I got these cats, the person who first had them fed them on the table. So I thought we had gotten ourselves broken with doing on the table. Although sometimes when I'm beating or doing things at the table, one of them would try to get up on the table and I'll shoo them down. But I thought we had reached the point where they weren't doing that anymore. And lo and behold, Ronan had to show me who was boss again. So now I've had people suggest to me that I put the some strips of tin foil up there, and I may do that, but for the most part they don't get up on the table anymore. But he just had to show me who was boss. Now he's been running around here today all day looking for attention. Of the two, he gets bored the easiest. So, you know, you have to pay a lot of attention to him, play a lot of games with him, those kind of things. And I've never had a cat that has been this needy for attention. And I do find that interesting, that it's Ronan that is having that behavior and making it difficult to have to deal with him almost on a daily basis sometimes. So, cracks me up. He always does. But it's kind of what's going on with the kitty cats. Don't know what else has been going on. You know, around the world, strange things have been happening. Keep hearing about those drones, and you know, our government doesn't know who's behind them, and which I think is nonsense. I think our government knows exactly who's behind it, but for whatever reason, they're choosing to keep silent about that. So, guess we just have to deal with it as it comes, right? I have been seeing quite a few crochet alongs. Of course, they do all the Christmas pattern countdowns. So, I don't know if any of you guys participate in those. For the longest time, I would collect the patterns, and I thought, why am I doing that? I never do them. So, I haven't really been collecting the patterns, with the exception of the little nativity scene. Because that is on my want-to-do list. So I am keeping that. And printing that out to go into a folder to do. That is something that I would have out year-round anyway. So, yeah. I don't decorate for Christmas. Like I said, for the most part, I don't put up a tree. I have cats, and I'm not sure how they would react with the tree. And so I think I'm going to leave that alone for now. Might, you know, consider doing a tree later on in life, but right now I just don't bother with it. I have a girlfriend that has a ceramic tree, and she says that's what she gets out for her, Christmas tree. And I'm like, yeah, I don't even have a ceramic tree. So I did have those little Dollar Tree trees and, decorated up with the lights and stuff. But I chose not to get those out this year at all, just because I didn't want to mess with them and put them back up and fight with the cats about playing with the lights and playing with the ornaments. Before I had one on the table and had one on the counter. And yeah, we all know the cat's in the table. And I just didn't want to mess with that this year. So I opted to stay away from even putting that up. The only thing that I've put up is the wreath behind me and then my wreath on the door. So yeah, those are the only 2 wreaths that I've put up to date. And I'm good with that. I'm perfectly happy with that, the way that that is going. So I'm not one of those where I think I need to have a ton of decorations out. Never have been. Never found it necessary, so. The most that I did is when my kids were little. We would put up different characters on the wall, pictures that we had laminated, some general things like that. And of course, we always put up a Christmas tree. My favorite part was watching the lights, Christmas lights at night. I would turn off all the lights in the house after I'd got the kids to bed and turn on the lights and sit down with a drink, usually Diet Dr. Pepper or Diet Pepsi, and would sit and crochet for the longest time while the lights were either flashing or just on during the night in this quietness. I found that very therapeutic and very soothing. So that is something that I chose to do for myself. That was my me time. Having 4 children, there wasn't a whole lot of me time. But that was my me time. Of course, it never failed when the kids would get up and share a little bit of it with them or put them back to bed. But that's basically all I've ever really done for Christmas. We have never really decorated outside at all, other than a wreath on the door, different wall hangings around the house, that kind of thing. And of course, when I was younger as a kid, all we ever did was put up a Christmas tree. That was about it. Now, we had a family tradition of after Thanksgiving dinner, we would we would do some kind of family craft as a family, whether it was decorating shirts or, coloring some coloring pages or putting a puzzle together. It was always just a family time for that. But we always had family night anyway, where on Sunday night, generally, we would get takeout, and then we would sit and, after we had dinner, we would play board games, Clue was a favorite, head of the class. My dad and I would play chess occasionally, but he would get mad because I usually beat the snot out of him. So used to irritate him no end. He'd be like, "How can you beat me? I've been studying and playing chess longer than you have been alive." I was like, "Huh? I just enjoy doing it, Dad." So, yeah, I always thought that was interesting. And my dad had told he was friends with one of my principals at school. And he told this principal, he said, "I can't keep up with her. She does so much and is quick to learn and everything else. And I don't know how to deal with her." And this principal would just encourage me to continue doing the things that I like to do. So that was a rather interesting thing from that principal. And he was a very positive man, so I did enjoy doing a lot of things. I think it needs to be a little bit bigger. But that was kind of it for celebration Christmas. I went with Christmas Mass at midnight to my friend's. She was Catholic, so we go to midnight Mass, and they had a tradition in New Mexico of what they called Los Posadas, which was the Christmas story told out. They started at the smaller Catholic church, and it would be a full procession. Be Mary and Joseph, who hadn't had the baby yet, and then they would come up and they would go from house to house up to the main church, the bigger church, and then they would enter in from the back of the church up into the manger scene, and there they would put a cloth over the manger scene while a group of people played guitars and those kind of things, different hymns, that kind of stuff. And then they'd pull back the curtain and Mary had the baby. But it was just a symbolic thing, and it was a lot of interesting things, to see. So we would do that and then come home, and Mother always insisted we would open our presents that night, New Year's Eve. We didn't wait till Christmas Day. So as a family, we would open up our gifts, and of course then we'd go to bed. That way Mother always thought that we would sleep late and her and Daddy could sleep later. As kids, we always got up early anyway. We'd watch cartoons, do the normal thing, eat breakfast, and carry on making a lot of noise. And finally, Mom and Dad would get up about 10 o'clock. And then we would have our little Christmas dinner. We would help Mom fix it and set the table, that kind of stuff. But I used to do those things with my kids when they were little. We did a lot of game playing and board playing games, for quite a while, until, of course, the Nintendo came in, and then the Nintendo took over all of the game. And sometimes I had to fight those boys to get the chance to play the Nintendo, because they were so busy with it. And finally got to where I had to give them a time. They could play so much at a time before their brother and sister were allowed to play their games. Of course, the boys used to play Mario Brothers, and the younger two couldn't play Mario Brothers, but they used to like doing the duck hunt, and I think there was another, can't remember the name of the game, but it was more geared to younger children that Jessica and Stephen, my youngest, would play. So everybody got a chance. Mom's chance was after everybody went to bed. Mom would play Tetris. That was my big thing. I loved Tetris, so I would play that. That was kind of some of the things we did around Christmas. Fun stuff. Okay. But were there any family traditions that you did with your Christmas days? Did you remember that, some of those things that you kind of miss being older? I miss some of those days. They were a lot of fun. There were a lot of time spent with the kids, and I just enjoyed doing that. That was my big thing with my kids was, to enjoy the company and go to the park. And we also used to go look at the Christmas lights. In our town in Roswell, there was a neighborhood that always did a massive Christmas display of lights. Everybody in the neighborhood would create a display, and we'd go look at the Christmas lights. Now here, so much, I don't really go to see a lot of the Christmas lights, like I used to. However, our church does a display. It's called Worship in the Woods, and it's a beautiful display of the Christmas story done to some more up-to-date music, the Christmas story. And it's a beautiful light display, and the music, the lights go off set to the music, timing of the music. And the fellow that does it, Travis Best, does a great job with getting that taken care of and doing just a beautiful job with the light display and everything. And that is something that he enjoys, doing that kind of thing and working with the sound and, all of that kind of stuff. Well, how did I manage to do that? See, you got to rip it back all the way. Only picked up 2 of the 3 strands. So that's always been a lot of fun and interest and that kind of thing. But that is about it. I do go out to that one place. That woman has decorated her house, and go to Candy Cane Lane, but don't always do it every year. A lot of it just depends on the mood, whether it's going to be, really cold and who wants to get out and that kind of thing. And just haven't had that much of an interest to do that kind of stuff this year. Maybe I'm getting old, right? But, all right, I'm fixing to come up on time, so let me pause you and I'll be back in just a second. Okay, I'm back. I guess that was pretty good timing because the battery ran out, so worked out well. But that, I guess, as I get older, don't really look forward to doing certain things like I used to. But, yeah. I have been trying to determine what all I want to do for this next year. You know, I don't normally do goals, those kind of things. I do more intentions. So I'm thinking about those kind of things. Whether I want to do a intentions video or not, or just not mess with it, or who knows. I just haven't decided yet. I do know that I do plan on doing a few more things for the Operation Christmas Child, because I basically wanted to be able to also provide some things for the packing party that could be placed into different boxes. So I am considering doing that and creating some, maybe some bead kits for the girls, older and some younger ones. I know the older girls really enjoy it, but I think the 5 to 9 could get into it too. I'm just a little bit concerned about beads, you know. Pony beads are probably a good, you know, choice, but little hands need help, so haven't quite decided how to do that. I do know that in the past I have created some, gotten some of the, you know, like the packs of the DMC thread, those kind of things, and breaking those up into putting them on the little paper spools, winding up as much as possible so that the gals could have some of those threads to make friendship bracelets, and sometimes adding beads in so that they could add beads if they wanted to, that kind of thing. And I used to do a lot of beading, and I still have a lot of beading equipment and things, beads, so that could definitely be used throughout. So yeah, those are some things that I'm looking at, trying to determine if I want to set a specific goal or if I just want to, you know, work on things as they come, throw them into a tote that could be sorted out later. I don't know. Who knows? Haven't decided for sure. But that, as well as making a couple of different items. I do know, I think it was on Operation Christmas Child. One of the gals had said the doll that you get at Walmart, and Walmart no longer has that smaller doll. Now they have a little bit bigger baby doll. It's like $7. They used to have one that they sold for $3 or $3.50 all the time. They no longer have that. However, Dollar Tree still has theirs for, I think it's $3. And that doll and the one that you get at Dollar Tree, Dollar General, and Dollar Tree, that the Weebies outfit, Weebees, normally will fit most of those dolls. You may have to take off a row or two, you know, for length because they're a little bit shorter. But those are some good crochet patterns to use for that kind of thing. So, and I know that I've always enjoyed making the Weebie dolls in the past. So maybe I'll start, you know, crocheting more of those and then making the outfits for them. Of course, the other thing is, you know, sewing the sewing dolls goes a lot faster So who knows what I'll decide to do. But yeah, I'm just having fun. You know, in a sense, I'm kind of reliving some of my childhood, some of the things that I like to do as a child. I know when I go to the Dollar Tree, I always try to pick up there are two things that I pick up a lot of. One is the small little Etch-a-Sketch, and then also it's like the spirographs, and it's got the little different cogs. I wore off the spokes on all of mine because I love that. I did a lot with that, did a lot of drawing, creating things with it. Always loved doing that. So I try to do that and then also include some paper, for them to be able to continue to make different things. So I like picking those up. I've never really seen where Dollar Tree or Dollar General has marbles very often. I do know someone said that I think it's Five Below has marbles like for $1 for the 50 pack. Comes with one shooter, maybe two shooters. And those are toys that a lot of folks enjoy in other countries. One of the other things that if I remember correctly, big hit in many other countries is the game Uno. And of course, I think it's Dollar Tree has that, has a smaller deck for like $1.25. Although, from what I understand, some of their prices are going up. They're now including $3 and $5 items on the shelves. Things that they've never had before, like coffee. $5 container of coffee. I think I saw a video where someone said they're getting the 12 ounces of the different flavors of Folgers coffee in the can, plastic can. Maybe it's one of the smaller ones. But some of the Dollar Trees have that for $5. So, who knows? I'm sure that they're wanting to up their game. Of course, if I remember correctly, Family Dollar and Dollar Trees are owned by the same company? Is that right? I think that's right. Not positive about that, but don't quote me and don't shoot the messenger if I'm wrong about that. Just correct me down below. And of course, I've never really shopped in Family Dollar. I stopped in there one time in our local Family Dollar, and I'd walked in with my purse, and the gal told me that I needed to leave it up front. And I said, "Are you going to watch it?" "No, you just need to leave it right there." I thought, I'm not going to do that. Turned around and walked out. One other time I'd walked up to the grocery store to get a couple of items and decided, I'll stop there again, to check and see. And this is after I'd written a complaint to the regional office about being told I had to leave my purse up front. And I get in there and the gal tells me I need to leave my bag up front, the items that I just purchased at the store next door. And I said to her, no, I won't, but I will definitely let you look through it to make sure I'm not stealing anything. But I'm not leaving my bags anywhere where other people might get them. Yeah, especially when I know that you are not watching them and you're not putting them under lock and key. She said, well, that's the store's policy. And I said, well, I wrote a letter to the regional, and I was told that they can't make me do that. They can ask me, but I don't have to. And showed her the letter that I'd received back from them. And so she was like, okay. She didn't like it, so she called her manager, and of course the manager was in the back doing some stuff, and she came out and she followed me wherever I went. Well, I didn't care. I wasn't leaving my bags. I mean, I understand the reason that they do that, because they have a lot of teenagers that come in there, and some of the college students are, let's put it this way, some of them were questionable. This university has always quartered the kids in Philadelphia from pretty bad neighborhoods, and some of them have old habits that die hard, even though they're being given a chance to get an education and make better for themselves and their families. So, you know, I understand that, but I also understand that I don't have to follow their things just because they demand it of me. So, just, you know, it's just interesting, the different store policies that go around that people put into place, and you're like, why are you doing that? Why? What is it going to help? Is it going to help anything? Is it going to keep the theft down? Or, you know, I don't know. But after that, the manager, you know, after the manager followed me around, I showed her the letter as well. It was an email. And I showed her, you know, that I'd gotten it. And I told her, I said, I complained because I didn't feel it was right that I was expected to leave my purse up here, which has not only my money, but all my personal things and information, that if someone were to just walk in, see the purse, snatch it, and walk out, that I would be at a loss for. And I think that the store would be held responsible, since they're the one that put the stupid rule in place to begin with. So, I think it's rather interesting. We have a couple of stores here in the morning that give coffee. Of course, one is the McDonald's. One is a place called Avenue 209, which is run by the Commonplace Church. And they do a lot of good, you know, in that coffee shop. And I just don't always care for their coffee shop when I'm getting coffee, because I don't care for the blends that they use. But the other place was Dunkin' Donuts. Well, Dunkin' Donuts has been closed down maybe 3 weeks now. And I don't know who that is. For renovations. So McDonald's is getting overrun with all the people wanting to come in and get their coffee drinks. And I find that interesting, because most of the sales have been coffee in itself for Dunkin' Donuts. I don't know that they actually sell as many donuts as they do coffee and coffee drinks. I'd be surprised if they do. But they're doing some renovations. Maybe it'll be a little nicer store to come in and shop and get a donut every once in a while. The biggest thing that I have about it is when you go in to get coffee, you're standing in line, it takes forever for someone to wait on you because they do the drive-through. The drive-through is more important to them than anything else, so it's hard to get, service at the counter. And I've always complained about that. I think they should, have someone that's just dedicated to the counter. So maybe with this renovation, they'll fix that issue. One can hope, right? Because I don't mind Dunkin' Donuts coffee. It's not a bad coffee just to get plain coffee. Get a donut, It's always a nice treat every once in a while to be able to do that. And I do say treat because generally when I'm at home, I make my own coffee and, that's just a choice that I make. And that way I can have the whole pot or half the pot. And, now I'm drinking what I call unleaded, so not really too thrilled about being unleaded. Decaffeinated. There are times I feel I need the caffeine, so. And every once in a while I do have a blend that I have that is full caffeinated. And every once in a while I'll make some coffee of that, so on those days when I feel I need the extra boost or whatever it is. Isn't always, but sometimes. But, yeah. And I was finding it rather interesting. I'd gotten a sale. Someone had purchased some bags, and I went to go, get the order ready and everything. And I was sitting there and I was looking back at what they had charged, and I was, why did they charge $8? And supposedly they did an off-site ad, which this person purchased from. And I kind of find that interesting because this person has purchased from me before, so I'm not sure how they ran into that off-site ad. But here's the other thing. I think that I should be able to not choose that off-site ad. Generally, in the way that they run with their off-site ads is, if you make $10,000 or more, they charge you 15%. And this is in a 1-year time. If you make under $10,000, they charge you 12%. They charge me 15%, and I'm like, I have never made $10,000 in sales in a year. So I did send them a complaint about that to ask them why I was being charged the higher fee when I don't make $10,000. I'm under $10,000 a year. So who knows where they've come up with that and whatnot. But I think $8 to have to pay for an ad that, one, I cannot opt out of those ads. They choose when to put those up and whatnot. And then they never let me know when they have put, my shop, some of my things on one of those ads. And I just think that's wrong. I think they should let the seller know when they've done that, so the seller will be aware of it when it happens. And, yeah, find that a little odd. Well, I think I have carried on, rambled enough, so I'm going to let you go for now, and I'll see you again soon. But in the meantime, have a great weekend, and, yeah, stay blessed, be kind to one another. Bye. I was kind of curious what Dollar Tree's gingerbread house kit included. I mean, you look at that cake and you think, wow, that's a nice gingerbread house. But you notice it's 5 ounces. So I thought we'd look at what the kitten has in it. So let me get it open and we'll pull it out. Get the house. Get some sprinkles. It's plenty of sprinkles. But that's the icing. I don't think that's going to look quite the same as that one, or even close to it. In fact, I'm not sure once you break the house pieces apart, you actually even have enough icing to put it together. But it was interesting, don't you think?